So guys, welcome to the Body Business YouTube channel. So today I'm here with you to discuss about the grade 11 business and accounting studies chapter 1. So when it comes to the grade 11 business accounting studies, the first three lessons and the last lesson about the business. Then the other four lessons are about the accountings. So I'm today with you to discuss, actually not I'm going to discuss, I'm going to summarize 1.2, that means trade. So when it comes to the topic is the trade and supportive services. So in this video, I'm going to summarize the point about trade. So without further delay, let's move on. So what do you mean by trade? So trade means buying or selling goods. So then we come to the classification of trade. So trade can be divided into two parts as domestic trade and international trade. So this domestic trade can further divided into two as retail trade and wholesale trade. And the international trade also can be divided into two as import trade and export trade. So we all have to remember because the domestic trade is very important, right? So in many papers they have asked what are the two types of domestic trade. So you have to give priority to the domestic trade, right? So then let's move on. So then we have domestic trade. Under the domestic trade, there are two trades, retail trade and wholesale trade. So first, let's discuss about retail trade. So selling goods or services for the final consumption is known as retail trade. That means like you are buying book from the bookshop. That means you are buying it and you are writing and you are not going to sell it to anybody else, right? So that is what you mean by retail trade, right? So then we come to the characteristic of the retail trade. So number one is selling goods or services for final consumptions. So in the definition also you saw that. So the second one is supply required goods in required amount to the customer at required time, right? Then the third one, providing various goods in order to fulfill human needs and wants. That means retail traders have many goods items. Then the fourth one is available location close to the customers. That means when we take the wholesale traders and retail traders, there are more number of retail traders than wholesale traders, right? Then we have another point, providing goods at that means providing goods on credit at times. That means not only we can pay by cash, we can also pay to them by credit, right? Then the other point, support to improve the quality of goods by getting feedback from them. So it's obvious you can understand, right? So in the textbook they have separately mentioned about the characteristics and advantages, but in here I have mentioned both in under one topic, so there's no confusion. So let's move on to the next one. So as you can see, this is a retail trade shop and these two you can see. Then we come to the wholesale trade. Purchase of goods with the intention of reselling is called wholesale trade, right? That means you are buying something from a shop and you are going to sell it again to another one, right? So when it comes to the characteristics of wholesale trade, purchase with the intention of reselling, right? Then selling few selected items, right? Let's imagine about a company. It actually, when it comes to automobile company, it produced a few selected items. For example, Samsung, they produce only their products. That means their phones, their earbuds and their smartwatch. They are not going to sell other items like in other brands, right? Then we have unit selling price is relatively low when compared with retail trade, right? That means when we buy for example, let's take when I buy a mobile phone from retail trade, it may cost like 2 lakhs. But if I take the same mobile phone from the wholesale trade, it will be like 1.5 lakhs, right? You can understand the difference here, right? So they provide trade discounts. So when we buy large stock from the wholesale traders, they give us 5 to 10% discounts, right? So the next one is difference between wholesale and retail trade. So this chart is clearly mentioned in the textbook, so I have extracted that part. So the objective of retail trade is to sell goods for final consumption, right? I told you before. Then when it comes to the wholesale trade, the objective of wholesale trade is to sell goods for purpose of reselling. That means I buy something from someone and selling it to another one, right? Then retail retailers sell different types of goods by understanding consumer needs and wants. That means retailers know the uh, what customer needs and they sell that particular item. But wholesale trade selected only one or limited types of goods, right? Then we have retail prices comparatively higher since retailers have incur additional cost to resell and has to earn a profit as well. So that means they, in order to sell, they keep a profit, right? So the price will be little bit high when comparing with wholesale trade. The wholesale price is relatively lower compared to the retail price as a result of selling in large quantities and trade discounts, right? Then goods are often sold at listed prices. So when you buy a biscuit, in the biscuit they have mentioned 100 rupees, 280 rupees, right? That's the retail price. So when it comes to the wholesale trade, trade discounts are given in wholesale trade. Uh, let's take the same example. I buy the biscuit for 100 rupees from retailer, and I buy the same 100 rupee biscuit from the wholesale trader. So when I buy that same biscuit from the wholesale trader, they can give, or they may give some discounts to me, right? So then another one, retailers are well aware of the needs and wants of consumers as they have directly contact with them. Wholesalers do not have contact with consumers. They collect information about consumers through retailers, right? So when you go to the nearby shop frequently, they know what items you are going to buy. So think you are going to buy shampoo. So there are like uh, Sun Silk, Dandex. So you are buying only a particular brand, right? So they know which brand do you are preferring. So they can always buy that item from the wholesalers and sell it to you, right? So that means the retailers know what are the wants and needs of the consumer, right? So now I think you have clear understanding about the difference between wholesale trade and retail trade. So let's move on. So the other one is international trade. That means the trade that carried out between two or more countries is known as international trade, right? So when it comes to the international trade, there are two types of international trade. One is import trade and second one is export trade, right? So when we talk about the export trade means bringing goods from foreign countries to a particular country is known as import trade. For example, purchasing automobiles from America, purchasing oil from South Africa. So then we have export trade, right? Selling domestic goods to foreign country is known as export trade. For the best example, we can take selling Ceylon tea to other countries, right? Other, or else we can say selling cinnamon to other countries like that. So now you can see I have summarized the 1.2, that means trade. in this video. So I'm telling you to not just wait by listening to this video. You have to always prepare the textbook. So most of you guys are lazy to do activities in the textbook. So I thought of doing this activity in this video. So number one, so we have to select whether these statements are true or false. Purchase of exercise books by a school cooperative shop to sell to students in a transaction relevant for sales retail trade. Right? That's true. Right? So purchase of exercise books by school cooperative shop to no, that's not true, because purchase exercise books by a school cooperative, that means they are buying a large number of stock. That means that is not a retail trade, that is a wholesale trade, right? Then we have the second one. Selling ready-made garment manufactured in Sri Lanka to foreign countries is an example for export trade. No, that's false. That is an import trade. Number three. Selling required goods for the daily needs of consumer in required amount is a characteristic of wholesale trade. No, that's totally wrong. That should be retail trade. So in the textbook they have clearly mentioned about that. So number four. Buy required milk, powder, coal, etc. for our country from foreign countries is an example for import trade. Right, that's true. So number five, difference between retail trade and wholesale trade lies in the purpose of purchase. Yes, that's obvious. That's true. Number six, retailers often has direct contact with consumers. Yes, that's correct, because when I go to the nearby shop, they know what I'm going to buy. So that's true. So number seven, the wholesale price of food is often higher than retail price. That's false. The wholesale price is often less than the retail price. Right? So number eight, selling rubber manufactured in Sri Lanka to China and bringing in Chinese machinery is an example for export trade. No, that's not. That's an import trade. So number nine, the retail trade involves in variety of goods, whereas wholesale trade involves in limited types of goods. That's correct. Then last one, in our country, both retailers and wholesale trade exist. That's correct. So I think you guys have understood what you mean by trade. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about another topic regarding this lesson. So stay in touch with others. If you like this video, please hit that like button. So let's meet with another video and stay safe.